What's going on, guys? So before we get to this F550 chassis cab upfitted truck, actually I have Steven back again. How's it going, man?
Hey, good to see you, JD.
Perfect. So we're going to start on this really cool wall because there's a lot of information here that kind of demonstrates some of the things that we're talking about and the capabilities of this new truck, especially in terms of upfitting and integration, because this system right here is all new and this is super cool. And Steven, if you could you take a quick moment and kind of explain what this display looks like? And this is a display that would be in the new Super Duty if you have it set up correctly, correct?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So this Super Duty is going to be the most upfit friendly Super Duty that Ford has ever built. And you can see just one example of how that is on this image here. This is the existing sync screen that is found within the cab of the truck. This is an XL version with the 8-inch touchscreen, which is standard to XL. Upfitters now have the ability to go in and program soft buttons within the sync screen. We still have the upfitter switches that are located.
Pause. That is so important. I love the fact that you didn't remove the upfitter switches just because you added the touchscreen version of them.
We've got both now. So we still have the upfitter switches that we have had on Super Duty, but now we have programmable and connected capabilities with the Ford Pro Upfit integration system, which really allows upfitters to configure operation of their upfits in a way that they haven't been able to before, integrated within the truck.
Yeah, and I heard some really cool information yesterday during the presentation where upfitters now actually have the ability to tie in how they develop their upfitting equipment to work with this system, so those pieces of equipment can actually control functions of the truck, such as the idling characteristics or the parking brake status, things like that.
You're right. Let's say that upfit needs a higher idle RPM to use that PTO, which by the way is standard on all chassis cabs now. Upfitters can program that logic into the system for their upfits. It's really cool technology that we're really excited for our commercial customers within Ford Pro.
Yeah, the example that was given yesterday was also a really good one of maybe the upfit is a crane or it's a bucket and you need the parking brake enabled for safety reasons. It can actually enable the parking brake if you're using that upfit.
Yeah, so you're right. You can set rules within the upfit operation. So let's say you've got the crane is deployed. You can set a rule where the truck cannot be taken out of park, whether it's somebody else getting into the driver's seat, doesn't know that something's deployed, thinks that everything's ready to go, but it's not. The truck will prevent the vehicle from being disengaged from park in that specific example, so we can ensure safety.
So one other question I have is this a feature that's available only on like a chassis cab truck, or can you get this on any version or any variation of a Super Duty?
So the Ford Pro Upfit integration system will be available on both chassis cab and pickup. So this technology is not exclusive to chassis cabs.
So if I want to get a new 2023 F450 King Ranch loaded to the gills, and I also want this technology on there for whatever I want to add, I can do that.
You can add that option, yes.
Now, here's a question that I'm going to throw at you, and I probably would guess you might not know the answer to. So the 6 upfitter switches that are on the top of the truck that are going to be retained all have relays already built into them. So you don't have to add relays to power things that use a little bit more power than what might normally be used by the truck. Do you know if these upfit features give you those built-in relays or not?
I'll have to get one of my engineering friends who's a lot smarter with that stuff than I am.
Okay, I'm sorry
to get you the specifics.
And that's a very techie question, so I'm glad you took a stab at it anyways, but yeah. All right, yeah, but this is super cool. Let's go over there and take a look at this F550 and see some of the unique changes that have even come to this model of truck. Because what you said is the screen that's in the F550 is now an 8-inch standard screen?
You're right. So we have across the Super Duty lineup now, the standard screen on XL models is an 8-inch Sync 4 touchscreen system.
Yep,
So
I want to talk to you a little bit more about that over there. Okay, so now we're at the side of this F550. This is traditionally a chassis cab truck, which means this whole bed or this whole utility area is optional. And when I say optional, I don't want to say it's not included, because you guys have the ability to actually include the upfitted feature on the truck, right?
yeah, so think of it, the chassis cab is like a blank canvas. And then we partner with several upfit companies across the country, and the upfit companies, working with the businesses that they, or the vocations that they have in mind, they complete the truck. So we give them the canvas, and then they add on, whether it's a service body like this, whether it's some other type of upfit, they add that on and then ultimately deliver to the dealer and the final customer.
Yep, so one thing I want to talk about real quick before I talk about the topic I was going to talk about is the fact that when you look at frame structure on this truck, this is going to have a fully boxed frame from the front right here through the back of the cab, but then it converts to a C, an open C style frame from there on back. And the reason for that is because when you bolt something like this in place, if you have to run hydraulic lines, fuel lines, electrical lines, they like to run them inside of that C channel to partially protect them. But at the same time, it's very difficult to get bolts through a boxed section of steel that's really, really tall. So you end up putting these huge bolts through. So having an open C for the utility portion of this truck is very important. And that's the same thing the other manufacturers do as well. So it's not like, you know, some other brand has some boxed chassis going all the way back. They all transition from a fully boxed frame to the back of the cab to an open C channel going all the way back. And it's going to be reinforced in this section right here on the F550. So, sorry to wander off like that. But one of the interesting things that I always like to talk about is the evolution of the pickup truck. There was a period in time that wasn't too long ago, and I'm going to jump back to probably about 2000 and maybe 2014, maybe even a little bit after that, where even your high trim trucks likely didn't have any type of touchscreen in them. They didn't. It looked like a standard radio. You had to opt for a navigation package, which then included some type of a touchscreen or some type of a navigation screen. You go back further than that, your highest trim trucks, you were lucky if they had CD players at times. They might have a cassette player. The fact that you can take a truck in an XL or an XLT or just a base model configuration like an XL, and this work truck right here, which is the definition of a work truck, has an 8-inch touchscreen built into it. And I'm guessing it has Bluetooth standard.
You're right, it has sync, which part of that is the Bluetooth capability standard. This truck has 5G connectivity.
Yeah, that's insane.
This XL work truck has 5G connectivity, and it enables Ford Power Up over-the-air updates and enables all of that cloud connection back to the Ford Pro telematics software and suite of services that's available for the fleet manager, the business that uses this truck day in and day out. Ultimately, the goals here are reducing downtime, maximizing uptime, because we know if these trucks are working, the businesses are making money, and if these trucks are down, they're not
You're
making
losing money. Yeah.
It's time is money, and we want to provide all of these tools and resources, both within and outside of the truck, to help maximize that uptime and productivity for our fleet customers.
Yep, and I'm going to take a step back again, and I'm going to talk about when we look at base model trucks. And real quick, let's look at the truck behind us now to talk about that. Okay, so Stephen, the reason why we moved over to this truck is because this beautiful truck, LED accent lights on it, step side, it's got all the cool features. This is almost an entry-level Super Duty.
This is an XL truck that's equipped with the STX package.
Yeah, which is an appearance and kind of a trim package, right? It gives you the fog lights, gives you the little LED accent lights on it. This is for the folks who want the lowest cost truck, but they don't want it to feel like a work truck. Is that the best way of saying it?
Look at this thing. I mean, this truck is beautiful. You've got LED headlamps. You've got LED DRLs in that C.
Daytime running lights.
Daytime running lamps in that C design that is Super Duty.
Yep, you got the aluminum blacked out wheels.
You got blacked out wheels. You've got a unique STX fender badge.
They even have the upgraded FX4 off-road suspension package. I mean, the reason why I'm talking about this is because there was a period in time when if you wanted a fully loaded truck And let's go back 10, 15 years. A truck 10 to 15 years ago that was fully loaded might only have one feature that this doesn't have, maybe power seats. But you have so many features on this truck that truck would never have had, like the 8-inch screen, Bluetooth connectivity, 5G, more room, more cargo capacity, more towing capacity, bigger engines, more powerful, better fuel economy. You have all of that stuff baked into these new trucks, even if you're getting the most entry-level, lowest cost version of these trucks today. So if you're one of those folks who's going, you know what, I currently have a truck that's 15 years old, it was a platinum version of this, or it was the highest trim level then, you should probably take a look at some of these new entry-level trucks. If you don't want to spend the money it's going to take to get into like a King Ranch or, you know, a super high trim truck, you might be surprised with what you can get with a truck like this. Relatively low trim. It's actually the lowest trim truck you can get with an appearance package on it that makes it more of a consumer truck, more of a truck that you're happy to drive around, you're proud to drive around with your family. So very, very cool. This is an awesome truck. I would love to actually know the numbers on this thing. And is this one's equipped with a gas V8 because it doesn't have the Power Stroke emblem on the side. And I kind of wonder which one of the new gas V8s is in this truck.
So this one has the 7.3 liter engine in it. So we had the 7.3 in the current generation Super Duty. The team has made refinements to it. They've made enhancements to it. And this one has the 7.3. You can get it in the all new 6.8 liter gas V8 as well, which is based off of the 7.3.
So the 6.2 is gone.
6.2 is gone.
6.2 is gone. Now we have a 6.8, and it's based off the Godzilla 7.3, right? Like you said.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
So that the base gas engine now is a 6.8 liter gas V8.
So displacement is not going away, my friends. It's just getting bigger and it's getting more powerful, and the fuel economy numbers of them are just going up as well, I'm sure.
So an exciting part, our current Super Duty, you've got the 6.2 liter, it's paired with a 6-speed transmission. An exciting thing about the all-new Super Duty is that every engine is paired with a 10-speed transmission now. So you're maximizing performance and efficiency all at the same time.
Yep, and I think the thing that a lot of people may or may not understand is you hear about these transmissions with more and more gears, and you're like, man, how many speeds are these transmissions going to need or have? The point of having a 10-speed transmission isn't just to say we have a 10-speed transmission. It's to make sure you're in the right speed and the right gear at the right time for whatever you're doing. It's efficiency. It's basically saying, I don't have this huge RPM range that I'm stuck in, even though I need to be in a lower or a higher RPM range. It's making sure that the transmission has enough gears to put you in the right gear at the right time for the application you're in, which not only maximizes engine performance, it reduces wear and tear, and it also maximizes fuel economy. So did I miss anything there?
You've got it, JD.
Awesome. Anyways, we are going to take a look at some more trucks. I really appreciate the time you took here. We're going to go check out a couple different trim levels that I think might surprise you, especially with some of the innovation that they've included. So definitely take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll be back to talk to you again very soon.